Hey everybody, welcome back to Quali-Tea time. A little bit late on this one, I have been busy as heck. And the first part of that might be that you probably think I sound a little bit different today. And that would be because the microphone that you usually hear me through is right here. It's my Rode Podcaster. It is extremely good, it is very reliable, but it has some limitations by virtue, predominantly of being a USB microphone. So, instead, I am now being heard. Oh boy, this is gonna get interesting because one box is way bigger than the other over here. I am now being heard through an NT-1A, as it says here, the world's quietest studio microphone, and very grand quality. Like, if you're doing a podcast, the podcaster is what you start off with, generally speaking, and the NT-1A and others like it are what you upgrade to down the line. So, I am now speaking to you in perfectly podcast quality. But there is a slight problem there, which is that the Rode Podcaster, of course, can just go straight into a USB socket. Not so much with the NT-1, because the NT1 here is an actual microphone, which is to say that it uses the same port and jack that basically every microphone for the past 70-odd plus years has used, which is not one that any computer has ever actually supported. So, one little present from my brother. First year we've actually given each other presents on our birthday, which is a section of my birthday events that you didn't get to see on camera. Sorry about that. Was this, the Scarlett 2. Now, that is a USB interface, which allows me to plug a regular jack microphone into it, and then into, by versa of it, the actual computer. So Elemental is now actually able to pass the microphone coming, like, straight in. Didn't quite expect to find out that both of the slots inside of the Focusrite are actually, mono. Its output is stereo. You'd expect that it would actually take a stereo signal, but no, it actually just takes two... Well, it takes two inputs and then combines them into a stereo by putting them on opposite sides. Which means technically I'm now running a mono microphone, but that's honestly not the biggest, like, volume of change in the audio here. So hopefully that sounds good. Hopefully that doesn't sound awful. I've already had a look. In fact, I can see on the levels right now that the audio is very different. But I would say much higher quality, so that's grand to see. And the other issue, of course, at hand is it is a new month. It is July, which means it's rollover on Patreon. So if you haven't managed to pledge to Patreon already, assuming you can, of course, then go ahead over to patreon.com/lying. You can get a whole bunch of rewards, ranging from simple access to the Spring Realms server, where I am still occasionally to be found. I am quite busy, but I am found there. Or leading right up to getting a custom piece of audio, if you want that on a monthly basis as well. That rolls over. You can get one new piece of audio every month. Right up to the top tier, wherein you actually get to play Overwatch with me. Potentially in the coaster, probably in Fox Team Alpha. But that's all for the taking, so we have had a couple of new patrons in the past month, and welcome everybody. And then on to the slightly weirder news, which is I am having a lot of trouble sleeping. I don't know why. I've been trying to go to sleep earlier than about 3 AM or later a lot of the time. But I'm just having so much trouble falling asleep for some reason. I'm pretty much just gonna knock myself out, I think, if I have to this tonight. But that means I have been actually falling to sleep around about 7 or 8 AM and then waking up whenever, well, the roadworks nearby start going. Actually, I've heard, I swear, a chainsaw behind the building a couple of different times now, and it's admittedly a very effective, like, alarm clock at that point. But I've also had, like, some issues with my wrist. My wrist has been very sore recently, more so than usual. It feels pretty dandy right now, I have to say, which is kind of alarming. But I am trying to take better care of that, so I'm wearing the wrist brace. I am using the little, the Genji Butts strap here, I guess. And I even recently obtained one of the most cliche objects I think I've ever heard in terms of self-maintenance, which is, of course, a little grip strengthener, which is a lot stronger than I was expecting it to be, but if it works, I'm just doing this every now and then. I'm trying not to stress my wrist too much, but if I can strengthen my wrist so that it works better, then all the better. And that does mean that I fell behind a little bit more on doing a bunch of work for The Haunting, but despite that, we have actually had 3 episodes of The Haunting out already. That is the June special for 2017, and as near as I can tell, episode 3 broke a few people. At least one of them, literally. But we have 2 more plot-related episodes of The Haunting to go, and then we are into the behind-the-scenes, and per a Twitter poll that I put out not too long ago, we had 26 votes in that, and 88% said that I should focus on getting The Haunting finished before I start contemplating on making other videos as well, or in addition to, or just also all sorts of other things, because that would probably murder me even more. So I don't know exactly when we'll be back to regular videos. I'm hoping it'll be before the end of July, but we'll find out. But meanwhile, keep an eye out for episodes 4, 5, and 6 of The Haunting. With that, let's take a look at the schedule, shall we? On Thursday, it's an installment of Midnight Souls, 11 PM BST over at twitch.tv/lyinginbedmon. We're in pain country, but then we always are, aren't we? On Saturday, we would have had Dungeons & Dragon hats, but as it turns out, at least one of our members is kind of away at that point, so it is once more into the coaster at 9 PM BST. Lastly for the week, on Tuesday, it is an instance of Yoked Dwarves Live at 9 PM BST. And on to the questions. So, as always, these are drawn from the comments section of the preceding vlog. If there's anything that you would like to have me answer, well, we drop it down there and we'll see if we get to it. Our first question of the week comes from Gavin Jeffries. Is there any chance of a Witch in the Woods / Mating Do crossover? Specifically, would the Witch and the Maid ever cross paths was the question, but it's difficult to say. The Witch is currently attempting to commandeer a multiversal transport device. The Maid is currently in their own universe and kind of stuck there, so it's possible. I'm not going to rule it out, but I currently don't have much in the way of plans for the Witch to visit the Maid's universe, so we'll find out. And our last question of the week comes from Chronicler Wolfram. How do you feel about your community influencing your characters? Now, famously, the Witch's visual design, their outfit and such, was heavily inspired by fan art of me as a kitsune during the early days of Witch in the Woods as well, and I think that actual qualified artists do a lot better than I do at drawing up characters in other places. But it's mostly things like behavioral elements, backstory elements, that kind of thing. I like having a degree of back and forth between me and my community about how my characters are going to be, what they're going to behave like, how they feel about certain things. It's fun, I like that bit of back and forth. Ultimately, I do have to put my foot down on occasion and say, no, this is this, and this is that, and so on and so forth. And I think having that degree of command, as it were, is important as a creator. You have to be able to own, and you have to be, comfortable with your own work, which means that you have to say that some additions made by someone else are invalid on occasion. This is canon. This is not canon. This is utter fanon, that kind of thing. It's definitely become a bit of a contentious issue in terms of the McElroys and the Adventure Zone. I know it's been contentious with some other YouTubers over the years, like what skin tone your character is, apparently. Generally speaking, I haven't had to go through the worst of that with my community, because my community is wonderful and made of angels, and the occasional sin. But by and large, I think it's positive. I think it's great to get your audience involved in how your content is going, especially the content that you're making for them. They should have some degree of input on it, which is why I keep asking people, should I keep working on this one thing, or work on a couple different things and probably kill myself? In the process, I should say. And I still enjoy it. People tell me to no, just work on the one thing and be healthy. I love my community, it's wonderful. But that is it for the week, so hope you've enjoyed. Hope my dulcet tones are coming through clearer than ever, and I'll catch you all next time.